Am I the butthole for making it hard for my in-laws to see my children? My wife, 30 female, and I, 29 male, have been married for 8 years and have 2 kids, 6 and 4. She is an officer in the U.S. military and is currently overseas on deployment. It can be hard for me sometimes to basically be a single parent, but I love my wife and I love my kids and I'm proud of my wife's service. But that aspect of our lives isn't the topic here. My wife's parents live across the country, like 2,000 miles away. I don't have a great relationship with them and really only see them when my wife is in the States. They aren't necessarily bad people by any means and I know they love their grandkids, I just don't enjoy their company and don't want to hang out with them or talk with them if I don't have to. Due to my wife's deployment, we were unable to spend the holidays with her this past year. Instead, I took a week off of work and I took the kids to visit my parents for Christmas and New Year's. It was a fun week and it was a nice change to our day-to-day routine. It also gave me a much-needed chance to be off full-time kid duty for a few days. My mom posted a lot of pictures of our stay on social media, which my mother-in-law saw. Mother-in-law then decided to call me and tell me that they would also like to see their grandkids since it has been a long time. She's not wrong, they haven't seen my kids in 3 years. I told her I would have to think about it and talk with my wife first. But since I don't always get regular communication with my wife, I don't know exactly when that will be. When I finally talked with my wife, I mentioned her mom asking to see the kids. Apparently, mother-in-law had contacted my wife about it as well. I told my wife that I would prefer to wait until she gets back from deployment and she agreed. She said she would talk to her mom about it next chance she gets. A few days later, mother-in-law calls again. She said she talked with my wife and she understands that we just took time to see my parents over the holidays, so she offered to come visit us instead of us going to them. I told her, I appreciate the idea, but that isn't going to work for us. She tried to tell me that it would give me a break and that she and father-in-law could help around the house so that it isn't all on me. I told her that even if I let them come see the kids, they wouldn't be staying with us and would have to get a hotel. I then said that I already talked with her daughter and we both agreed that waiting until she is back from deployment is for the best, but that even then I can't guarantee when it will happen. She got upset with me for making it nearly impossible for them to see their grandkids when I just took them to see my parents for nearly 2 weeks and they haven't seen them in 3 years. I pretty much told her that it isn't my problem and if she wants to take it up with someone, she can talk to her daughter or the U.S. military and see if she can get her daughter's deployment time reduced. I told her good luck with getting either one to budge on their current stance. Edit, this is a comment that I was advised to add to my post regarding my relationship with my in-laws. We just don't see eye to eye on pretty much anything. Mother-in-law is convinced that I am incapable of raising my kids without their mother and has told me on numerous occasions that because my wife is deployed for long periods of time, that the kids need a mother's touch that I cannot possibly provide. Father-in-law is also convinced that my wife settled for me and has told me on more than one occasion that he wishes my wife had stayed with her previous BF who was also military and who cheated on her numerous times. So yeah, not my favorite people to be around. Info, what have they done to you or your family? This seems like an easy ask on their part, yet you're a hard no. What gives? Edit, with your added info, not the butthole. Definitely not the butthole. Not the butthole. You and your wife are in agreement. If you were acting outside of her approval, then you would be in the wrong. Am I the butthole for not wanting to wear a hand-me-down? I'm female, 15 and have an older sister 17 Bella who I get a lot of her hand-me-downs. I don't really complain much BC, they're not too out of style and in good condition anyway. So I recently had a huge chest growth spurt. I used to be completely flat but since November it's grown, so I needed new bras. My mom just went to the downstairs hand-me-down bin and grabbed a handful and handed it to me. I said I wasn't going to wear that, my sister wore them first. She said it was no different than wearing an old shirt or something but to me it just feels a bit icky. I told her again I needed brand new ones but she just got mad at me and said if I don't wear these ones I don't get one at all, so I took them finally after a little more arguing and washed them probably 6 times, exaggeration, don't hate me. Then at supper my mom told my dad and sister how spoilt I was being, and my dad reprimanded me and I tried to say again I just found it uncomfortable wearing bras my sister had already worn but I just got sent to my room instead. So I got to thinking, maybe I should have just sucked it up? Am I the butthole? Also I can't buy my own BC, I don't get allowance and I'm not allowed to have a job, and we live far from a clothes store so I can't just buy one even if I did have the money, so please keep that in mind. Edit, if one more random dude messages me I'm blocking and reporting you and taking this post down, so please stop. Not the butthole. No different than wearing an old shirt or something. Hashtag underwear is different. Not the butthole, not at all. That is gross. Girl, what size do you need? I'll ship directly to you. Edit, seriously though. If you set up an Amazon wish list and add what you need, I'll buy them off your list so I never even need to know your address. Am I the butthole for telling my parents they have to pay for my wedding? I, 28 female, am getting married to a pretty great guy, 32. He is teacher and he is very happy with his decision to become a teacher. I work for a tech company and we do pretty well financially. We have been together for 4 years and have finally decided to get married. His parents bare happy and mine are overjoyed. One small wrinkle is that my parents expect us to have a massive church wedding with a few hundred guests. We were thinking Jamaica this summer during his time off. We are willing to do what my parents want, but I am unwilling to foot the bill. My mom and I met with the wedding planner for an estimate. $35, $45,000. If we go to the resort we have picked out, it will cost like $10,000. And that includes paying for his parents and nephew to join us. My parents know how much money I earn and are insisting that I pay for the wedding myself. We have been very clear. If they want to show off to their friends, they can pay for it. We even volunteered to throw in the money we would have spent on my in-laws for the destination wedding we want. My mom says I'm being in butthole by denying her the chance to see her only daughter married in front of friends and family. I'm not. I'm just not willing to pay for it. My parents can afford to pay for the wedding. It might just mean putting off replacing their car this year. Not the butthole. If they want the $40,000 wedding, then they pay for it. Otherwise, stick to your $10,000 plan. In fact, do that anyway. That's what you and partner want, and this is your wedding. Not the butthole. If it's that important to your parents, they can pay for it. But beware of any strings that might come along with them footing the bill. Not the butthole. This is why I eloped, lol. Honestly, the audacity of your mother to expect a wedding you don't want and also not want to pay for it is astounding. Do what makes you happy. Don't back down on this. Not the butthole. Your mom can have the wedding she pays for. You don't want a wedding, she does. You want to go to Jamaica. It's your money, mom doesn't get to tell you how to spend it. Best wishes on your upcoming Jamaican wedding or honeymoon. Mom either comes to the wedding or she doesn't. No one is entitled to a wedding on someone else's dime. AITA for telling my daughter she's too old to be sitting on my lap. I, 37 female, am married to my husband, 38 male, and we have a daughter together, 11 female. My daughter is very small for her age and as a result gets treated like a younger child sometimes. She loves to hop in my or my husband's lap and cuddle with us on the couch or in a chair. I have been thinking that she may be too old for that sort of thing and maybe I'm hurting her by letting her continue. Yesterday she tried to hop in my lap and cuddle and I told her she was too old for that and to get off me. She got really upset, got off me and went to her room and slammed the door. She hasn't tried to get in my lap since then and things are tense between us. She doesn't talk to me unless she has to, and when I hugged her goodnight last night she didn't hug me back. I feel really guilty because I obviously hurt her feelings, but I feel like she might be too old for sitting on my lap. AITA. You're the butthole. She's not going to want to cuddle you much longer. You maybe have a year left. And you're throwing that time away instead of cherishing it. I didn't realize there is an age limit for parental affection. When I'm too big for my mom's lap, I'll start holding her. My 16-yo still curls up for snuggles. You're the butthole. And handled that terribly. You made her feel like she'd done something wrong. People sit in their parents' laps at all ages. I've seen full-grown adults do it. She's a child. No wonder she's upset with you. You're the butthole, too old? No, that's for her to determine, not you. Am I the butthole for asking my girlfriend to change her pad more frequently? We're both women, I'm female, 26 and she's female, 23, been together for 2.5 years. She got diagnosed with type 1 diabetes 3 years ago. She doesn't take good care of herself. She does sometimes and then she'll go through periods of I don't care and she's going through one of those right now. Problem is her periods. I get pretty straightforward periods 5 days and light then over. For example, she was on her period for 9 days, off for 8 days, back on for 7 days, off for 10 days and been back on for 3 days. It's not normal. She's got some sort of hormone imbalance but doctors haven't done anything about it and she's not interested in chasing up. Point is, she smells weird during this time. Her periods smell, like nauseatingly sweet? I can't quite explain, but we're not looking for medical advice. I reached breaking point and I kept asking her to change more frequently. She snapped and told me it's not my business, not my body, etc., and I'm being a controlling butthole. I said it is when she smells sweet. It's gross. We can't agree if I'm the butthole or not. I say I'm not and she disagrees. I don't even know if this will get approved, as I said not asking medical advice, just if I'm the butthole for reminding her to change frequently. Am I the butthole? Edit, it's not necessarily that we're against medical advice, I don't know if that's allowed on this group. The doctors locally are useless, so unless they express concern she doesn't bother chasing up, even though she has a hormonal imbalance they didn't and won't discuss, plus protein in her urine which once again didn't bother them, until my girlfriend said is that high and they sent for another urine sample. Going to stop replying as it's midnight, we'll read comments in morning. Thanks to everyone who's replied / are replying. You're the butthole. I don't think changing pads is the issue, she's already changing them frequently enough. I'm concerned with her smelling sweet. A sweet smell in diabetics usually means blood sugar is too high and is very concerning. Info. Why would changing them more frequently affect the smell? She '(s) the source, not the pads. She doesn't take good care of herself. You need to address the actual problem here or nope out of the relationship before you waste even more time. You're the butthole. For expecting her to change more than the every hour to 1 hour 30 minutes she is already doing. How often do you want her to change? Honestly, you're focused on the wrong issue. Nobody should bleed that much. You need to be arguing the need to find out what is wrong. Could be the thyroid. Could be fibroids. Both of those cause excessive bleeding. Find a doctor that will work to get you the answers. You should be more worried about that. You're the butthole. Compassion, concern, and empathy are the appropriate responses here. I'm worried about you. Can we see a doctor? I don't think this is normal. Am I the butthole for scraping the ice and snow off of my roommate's girlfriend's car? I 26 male, live in NY with a roommate 29 male, and it's fine. We aren't close friends or anything, but we get along, keep clean, and pay rent on time. I am originally from the rural Midwest and the stereotype that people are mean in NY is very true. I was always considered the darker odd one in the Midwest because I preferred to not talk to people, but in NY it seems too extreme. I'm fine with it, but if someone walks in your eye line and you smile at them they will look at you like you're insane. Where I come from you could encounter a random stranger anywhere and have a long in-depth conversation with them. Just in general people are nicer. In the winter if I got off from my job at 9 and another person got off at 7. If they saw it snowed but it stopped snowing they would brush the snow and scrape the ice off my car. I do the same for a coworker. In NY people get offended when you say ma'am or sir, but in the rural Midwest or South people get offended if you don't say that. Recently my roommate's girlfriend stayed over during a snowstorm. My roommate doesn't have a car but his GF does. The snow died down after a couple of days and when I went out to leave in the morning I brushed the snow off my car and also did the same to the girlfriend's car. I also shoveled enough snow so that we could both back out. I didn't even say I did it or mention it. But when I got back home in the night my roommate looked upset. He was like, never do that crap again. I didn't even know what he was talking about and when I asked him to clarify he just said you know. Eventually he told me that brushing snow and scraping ice off other people's cars is weird. I told him that it's not even a big deal and it's just a nice thing to do. I asked if his GF was pissed about it or something and he said that she was happy and pointed out how I'm always a really nice person. Is this weird to do? I don't think brushing snow off someone's car after you do your is weird or makes me the butthole. Not the butthole, you were being helpful. Does your roommate think you're trying to steal his GF? He sounds really insecure. Not the butthole. Your roommate's insecurity is showing. I'm guessing his GF said something really nice about you and now he's jealous. This has nothing to do with Midwest versus NYC norms. Am I the butthole for telling the mother of my boyfriend's son to run an upgrade on her parenting style? My boyfriend 32 male, and I 35 female, have been together for 1 year. I haven't got any kids. He has got a 4-year-old son who lives with his mom, my BF's ex. My boyfriend fetches his son every weekend. He has recently introduced me to his son. We get along really well. He's sweet, very talkative. I have helped raise my niece's nephews, so I think that I am good with kids. I don't believe in hitting kids. We talk things through. This has been my approach with my BF's son too. He is always up to something, taking things apart or pressing buttons, but that's because he's curious. I always speak to him calmly, have started explaining things to him. So now, he asks me questions like, what does this do? What is this? And we explore things together, less things being broken. I recently received a call from the mother of my boyfriend's son, asking me to stop using all these new age phrases on her child. She said that my funny things are interfering with her parenting style. Apparently the boy said, "Don't shout, mommy. Speak soft like auntie." He also said, "Okay. Take a deep breath, mommy," whenever she would raise her voice at him. At first I told her that I wasn't trying to interfere with her parenting style, but that is how I deal with children. She told me to go make my own kids and then teach them crap. That hurt me, and I told her that maybe her parenting style needs an update. Now, she refuses to let the child be around me. She is starting to refuse my BF access to his son, because of my interference. My friend thinks that I shouldn't have told her that her parenting needs an update, let my BF handle this instead. I feel terrible. Am I the asshole? Not the butthole. She's being ridiculous. Assuming that there's an actual visitation agreement, she cannot unilaterally just do that. Sounds like the 4-year/0 is more mature than his mother, and she doesn't like being reminded of that fact, by the kid, when she loses her temper. Your boyfriend needs to go to court and get a proper custody arrangement in place, because his ex just deciding he doesn't get to see his son anymore, ain't it? Not the butthole. You know you're not the butthole for treating a child with respect and understanding, right? Not the butthole. Go make your own kids and then teach them crap, has to be one of the most ignorant things I've ever read. Keep helping that kid. Teach him everything. One day he'll thank you, regardless of what garbage the ex is feeding him. Am I the butthole for following my husband when he walked away from me after being gone all night and coming home at 4 p.m.? My husband is a hard worker at a very demanding job. He is scheduled to work from 0630 to 1500, but rarely makes it home before 1730. Occasionally he's as late as 2100-ish. I have repeatedly asked that he call to let me know when he's running very late so I can make adjustments for dinner for me and our 12-yo. He'll remember for a few days before reverting back. He tells me not to worry, he's too busy to call and he'll be home as soon as he can. I told him that asking me not to worry when he's late is a slippery slope, that he's basically asking me not to care, and that's not good. We compromised on location services being enabled. It's not perfect as it does not let me know when he's coming home, but at least I can tell if he's at work or on his way home at dinner time. I only use it maybe a couple times a month. I have no desire to keep tabs on him. Of course he can see where I am, too, and I have no idea if he uses it or not. A few times a year he works weekend nights. On those times I don't expect him home before midnight, more likely I wake to find that he has come home after I went to bed and he's asleep on the couch. Here's the am I the butthole moment. A couple of weeks ago he was working on Saturday all day, went in at 0700, came back at 20:30. Not an hour later he gets called back in. Couple of things to keep in mind here. This is Saturday and Monday, a holiday, is our kid's birthday party, and he's taking my car to work, leaving his classic truck that I do not know how to drive, nor would I want the responsibility of doing so. As he's walking out the door I tell him, "Don't be gone all day, I have errands to run for Monday's party, and we've got dinner planned Sunday night." I laugh as I tell him, "So you'd better be home by 4. It's a joke as he's never worked all night into the next afternoon. Well, Sunday rolls around and he's not home. 1100, noon, and still nothing, so I go to check location services. They've been turned off. I am puzzled. 1300, 1400, and now I'm pissed. I have crap to do and he has my car. 1600 rolls around and he strolls in like nothing's wrong. The only thing I trust myself to say is, "What up, dog?" Then I grab the keys. As I'm walking past him he says, "What? What did I do?" I just go. Later, when we returned from dinner and I have significantly calmed down, I ask him why he didn't even apologize for being so late, and he said, "Why? I didn't do anything wrong. You knew where I was." He says he slept at work, then woke up at noon and detailed the car. What else do you think I was doing? Then he tells me he's done talking and walks away. Here's where I may be the butthole. I followed him into our bedroom and raised my voice. A little our kid was in the next room, and said that he has disrespected me, and if he can't see that then he's an idiot. If he really gave a rat's ass he would call. He said nothing. He has not mentioned it again. Am I the butthole here? I really don't think so, but he's standing his ground so hard that I can't tell anymore. Edited for spelling/grammatical mistakes. His shady red flags are everywhere in this post. Not the butthole. There's two possibilities here. 1. He didn't like your "better be home by 4" comment and decided a little malicious compliance was in order. Taking your car, turning off location services, and not calling were all to make you upset, while technically he complied by returning at 4. 2. He's got a girlfriend. Edit, or a gambling problem, or other addiction? Am I the butthole for wanting to postpone my wedding till my fiance gets rid of his braces? My fiance, 25 male, has braces. He refused to get them when he was a child/teen cause he feared people would make fun of him, but he finally accepted to get them after the dentist told him clearly that it wouldn't be recommended to replace his extracted teeth till he fixes his crooked ones. The issue is that our wedding was supposed to be coming up soon, but now I plan to postpone till my fiancé gets rid of his braces. I have nothing against him wearing braces. I even encouraged him to get them to finally fix his bad teeth, but did you ever saw of a groom wearing braces at his wedding photos? I don't think so. I thought my fiancé would be understanding, but instead he got mad at me and accused me of being ashamed with him. That's obviously no true. I just want our wedding photos to be as aesthetically pleasing as possible, and that's why I want to postpone our wedding till his braces come off. I also told him he could have avoided all this if he got invisible braces, but he said these were much more expensive and wanted to save money specifically for our wedding and honeymoon and didn't think his fiancée would be so shallow to care about it. He ended up saying that if I postpone the wedding now I might as well just call it off altogether, which I think is incredibly unfair of him to do, but maybe I should have insisted on this issue either. Am I the butthole? He should postpone the wedding until you mature. You're the butthole. I can't believe this. I just want our wedding photos to be as aesthetically pleasing as possible. You're the butthole. Am I the butthole for making a joke about the value of a rock my girlfriend found and embarrassing her? This may be weird to some people, but one of my hobbies is mining. I like taking a pickaxe and digging and finding cool rocks and minerals. I, 23 male, usually just do this alone by driving up to some place to find rocks. My girlfriend, 22 female, never really had an interest in rocks or mining, so she usually doesn't come. Today though, she said she wanted to come along, so I bought her a pickaxe and we decided to go mining. When we were mining, she dug up some green rock that was worth absolutely nothing. She was excited and asked me what it was, so I, as a joke, told her holy crap, that's a leverite. She was supposed to ask me what a leverite was for the joke, but she didn't. She took a picture of it and posted it on her Instagram story with the caption, "I found this beautiful leverite." I didn't know that until later when we were done, but when I saw it I started laughing my ass off and told her that it was worth nothing and she was flexing a worthless piece of rock. The joke is supposed to go like this: she asks what a leverite is and I tell her leave her right there lol. She got mad and said I embarrassed her. Am I the butthole? You're the butthole. Also, your hobby is rock hounding, not mining. Since we're laughing at silly word usage. You're the butthole. The time to tell her you were joking was 30 seconds after you told her it was a leverite. You have now cemented her decision to never go mining with you ever again. Humiliating someone isn't cool. It's an move. You're the butthole. Well, you just guaranteed she will never show an interest in anything you do ever again. You completely shat all over something that should have been a great shared experience and belittled her at the same time. Am I the butthole for paying a girl multiple visits to her place after she refused to pay for my car after she vomited in it? The Saturday before last there was a party at my frat. I was told to not drink on my new mood stabilizers, so I hadn't drank any. Near the end of the night this one girl who I had been talking to got really drunk, like too drunk to do anything, so I decided it would be best to get her home safely. I offered her and her friends a ride home and they accepted. It was about a 15-minute drive. A few minutes into the drive one said was feeling ill. I pulled over but I couldn't get her out because she was scared to get out on the side of the road at night. After another 10 minutes, I stopped trying and got back in the road and got her friends to let her sit by the window and locked the window down. 4 or 5 minutes later, she puked. She didn't even make an effort to throw her head out the window. I got them home and walked them upstairs. I got the girl's social media so I could contact her because she was going to either pay for my car to be cleaned, which I don't think is unreasonable. So I dropped them off and did my best to clean and got my car professionally cleaned the next day. I messaged her how much it would cost and she never responded. I sent her multiple messages and she never responded. Eventually she blocked me on everything and I have no way to contact her, well except one. Going back to their place. Which I did. The first time I went someone answered the door and I asked for the girl and the person went to go get them for a few minutes and she wasn't there. I visited 3 more times since then and the last time I caught her leaving and confronted her. She called me a psycho. I told her that she fricked up my car and I had to pay to get it cleaned, so she needs to pay, and that I wouldn't be coming here if she simply paid up. We got into a huge argument before people started coming out and I decided to leave. I feel like she's painting me as a bad guy when I've done nothing wrong and she's the actually person who's done bad crap. Am I the butthole? What you're doing is harassment. There is no other word for it. If you want your money back, then file a claim in small claims court. Everybody sucks here. Everybody sucks here. The courteous thing for her to do would to pay for cleaning your car. She sucks for avoiding you. However, you took it upon yourself to bring a clearly extremely drunk person into your car, knowing that she very well could get sick. You were kind to bring her home, but you decided to take that risk. At this point, what you are doing is stalking. I recently learned that you reach a stalking level when more than one unwanted contact has been made. You need to let it go. It's really hard to be an after someone vomits in your car and refuses to pay for it, but, congratulations, you've succeeded. Everybody sucks here.